Welcome back to The Move, presented to you by Patron Tequila. I'm Lance Armstrong, your host, alongside my longtime co-host, longtime being this is our second year.
Yeah, long time.
Long time, JB Hager.
12 months together.
We're talking about the Stage 3 Team Time Trial from today's Tour de France, where we were just stayed in Cholet, start and finish in Cholet, which they oftentimes do. Very rarely is that a point-to-point event. But before we get to that, let's do a little bit of business. And this first part of business is actually has a graphic to it, which I think is very, very interesting. I've been using this product for a couple of months, the Aura Sleep Ring.
Mm-hmm.
One interesting thing before we get to the ring and what it does and then get to Ian Boswell's sleep data is I wore this ring. Some of y'all may have noticed I wore it a couple days ago, and I walked back to the house, which is just right over there. And Anna said, what was going on over there? I said, what do you mean? She said, I was getting blown up by people asking if we had eloped because they thought it was because, we got engaged, I don't know.
People are so observant. I don't even pay attention to that.
Right. So all of her girlfriends that were watching the show said, wait a minute, you guys aren't going to do a wedding? You just ran off and he's wearing a wedding band on the show. Well, one of these days, whenever she gets around to, marrying me, I will. But this was not. I don't know if anybody else noticed this, but this is the Aura Sleep Ring. This is actually the new generation ring. And another thing that y'all may or may not know is I love to sleep, and I pride myself on being a good sleeper. So I've got they sent me this ring. It takes a measurement every second of the night, and then via the app. You can go in and see exactly how you're sleeping, and not just, it's very, very detailed. And actually, while we're at it, Dave, will you pull up? I'll pull it up as well. I have it here. Will you pull up Ian Boswell's sleep data? So we sent some rings to Ian and to some of the other guys in the tour. We're not sure. Ian has agreed to show us, and I don't blame some of these guys. If you don't want to turn over your sleep data, I wouldn't either. But here is Ian Boswell's sleep data. So as you go through the days, you have the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. You have all these things. Then you have score, which is basically that's the kind of the only thing I look at every night. His numbers, according to Aura, his numbers are actually really good. Tells you when you go to bed, tells you when you wake up. Latency, total sleep time, the amount of time you're awake, gives you REM and deep sleep.
Wow.
Tells you the amount of times that you woke up. So either to move around or go to the bathroom or take a drink or something. And then it gets all into heart rate variability, but it's very, very accurate.
That's incredible. It really is incredible because I had previously had some sleep problems. Have you ever done a true sleep, like a sleep study?
I have not.
The way they used to do it compared to this?
But when you're the best sleeper in the world, you don't do sleep studies.
Well, you just rattled off all the same data that I did when I had some major sleep problems 6 years ago. But I was laying in a bed with all these wires on my head and chest and hands and feet. Yep. And you got the same data by sleeping with that ring on.
That's right. And
That's
so
incredible.
2 nights ago, I just look at the score, the efficiency number. 91% I was 2 nights ago. The night before that, I was 89%. So I'm beating one of the guys in the tour when it comes to sleep.
Well, you have a little less stress than.
Yeah. So here's the thing, and I don't know if people really care about their sleep or not, but this device is insane. And there's 2 things. One, it's this new generation ring is so much in demand that they're back ordered a little bit. I think it'd be amazing if we could all compare our sleep to these guys in the race, but. In light of that, Aura Ring is offering our listeners and viewers $50 off. So you go to auraring.com, OURA ring.com. Coupon code is the MOVE. And so, hey, get in the sleep game, man.
Yeah, you can find out if you have some issues. Then you can talk to your doctor about it.
Right.
I went that route, but this is a much easier route.
Yeah. And speaking of optimization, again, I talk about it every day. This device right here, the Power Dot, this thing, I cannot say enough about it. We're just getting to this place where this isn't the 70s or the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s anymore. We're in this place where we're able to study sleep. We're able to have devices that are highly mobile like this. This eSTEM unit, if you have any ache or pain, which I do, you just take it on the road. You put the pads on, Bluetooth enabled, right on your phone. This thing works unbelievable. Put it in your back pocket of your jersey.
For those that listen to the podcast as opposed to viewing it, what you're holding is, about the size of it looks like you have compact discs in there. It's not big at all.
It's like an old Discman.
So you just
looks like a Discman.
Yeah, you just throw. It's very small. You just throw it in your bag. You said you take it everywhere with you, right?
You take it everywhere you go.
Very cool.
It's just, I cannot say enough about it. They're giving away one of these per day to all of our listeners and viewers. So you go to powerdot.com/themove, and if you care to purchase one, go to the same place, sign up, and you get 25% off to our listeners and viewers. So powerdot.com/themove. Very cool. Let's talk about the team time trial. Why is George Hincapie calling me? Should I answer this phone call?
Yeah, answer it. In fact, if you put it on speaker,
what you got? You're on speaker. We're live on the show right now, George. How can we help you?
Well, I was wrong. It wasn't 5 days. It was 3 days, 2 years ago.
Buddy?
Stage 5, 6, and 7, 2016.
Okay. You're a pretty good researcher. I nearly quoted you. We haven't even got to that section of the show yet, but I was going to quote you on 5.
You saved us.
You got saved. Thank you so much. I got everything wrong yesterday, and I got reprimanded by the entire world. So I appreciate you calling back.
Yeah, I was actually going to call you on a couple of things, but I guess you got reprimanded anyway. I didn't want to be wrong. So
I know. Look, we're just getting geared up here. This is early on in the tour.
Yep.
When are you coming out, George?
Doing great, though.
When's he coming?
Friday.
What day is today? Oh, it's Monday.
Today's Monday.
Okay, you get here Friday, or you're coming on the show Friday?
I get there Friday at like 1 o'clock. So I probably won't be on the show Friday.
That's right. You will not be. You will be on Saturday.
Yep.
Okay. Well, everybody will be excited about that. All right, buddy. All right. Don't try not to sound so excited. You're on the show. Like, I have you on speaker. You realize that you're on the show.
Oh, hello world. I'm excited. Very excited.
He didn't even know.
We do team.
That's right, buddy. All right, we'll see you. I'll talk to you before that.
All right, thanks.
Later.
Bye.
That actually worked pretty good. That's hilarious.
I mean, you can hear it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, I was going to say something. Oh, hey, big thanks to people that are tuning in, and especially on iTunes. We just cracked the top 10 on the sports category on iTunes.
Good.
So that's, hey, I don't know. I mean, that's a thing.
Another really good thing that's happening is, just to let all of you know, is we do have membership available where you can tune in when we're watching the stage.
Yeah.
And while we're watching the stage, and I'm giving props to the members because they're asking questions via email.
Right.
And we're answering them, but they're helping prep the entire show.
Yeah, no, we don't. We just show up, play bass, and help with other things. I mean, that's it.
So thank you to the members. If you want more information on that, go to wedo.team. But super, super helpful because you guys are asking things and some really good questions that we'll get to at the end of the show.
All right, let's talk about the team time trial. This is an event. I don't think there were any surprises at the front end of the race. I stick by my prediction that ultimately the situation at BMC will be less than ideal, especially seeing as you have a leader that's already signed a 2-year deal with another team. But nonetheless, they brought it together today to win an event that they usually always win. I mean, they win most team time trials that they do. And obviously, to beat a team like Team Sky is impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But no surprise.
Most were predicting that Sky would win and Thomas would be in yellow.
Yeah, and I thought it was, to me, it's one thing. I mean, obviously for the only result that matters on the team result is first place, right? Nobody's bragging about getting second or third like they might in an individual stage or the overall. So outside of BMC winning, the only important thing was how that affected the individual GC, which we've talked a lot about, that this counts for that. I will say that, and as I just told George, I got heavily reprimanded almost immediately yesterday by Johan Brunel for basically getting everything wrong. I mean, I just screwed up everything, JB. I mean, I was, in our day, there were 9-man teams, and the time stopped at the rear wheel of the 5th rider. I said the 4th. I got the time cut wrong. and he was
the time
just,
cut is 30%.
I know, but I don't know what it was. Yeah, it was a 30% from the first.
I think you said 4%. Yes.
Well, yeah, I guess in normal stage, I don't know. Listen, again, we're just getting started here. But thank you, Johan, for grading my homework and giving me Fs across the board. I appreciate it. Love you too.
The original JB. He always tells me that.
Yes, JB1. But no, I thought.
So let's talk about how they decided who's in first, because Van Avermaet and TJ Van Garderen had identical times.
So Greg Van Avermaet and TJ obviously on the same team. They both finished in the front group the first 2 days, and obviously finished together today. They have equal time, and so we were talking before we came on the show with the members, just this production meeting, just maybe in the vein of all these gimmicks that the ASO and the tour is trying, this bullshit like a grid start and all this. Maybe they should, if they're on the same time, I don't know, like arm wrestle, or rock paper scissors, or flip a coin, or 100-yard dash. I don't know, but they don't. So the way they go about that, and most of y'all probably know this, but if you don't, I'm going to tell you. So what they do is you take, for example, Greg Van Avermaet, the first day got 25th. The second day he got 18th. Same time as TJ Van Garderen, who got 55th and 43rd. So they take those two results, divide them by 2.
Mm-hmm.
GVA, Greg Van Avermaet, has a lower average, so he gets the yellow. Now, their teammates, their friends, their buds, all of that warm and fuzzy shit. And this is where I tasked George Hincapie to because he's very close with GVA. Has he ever had the yellow? I didn't want to make any more mistakes today. Asked George, has he ever had yellow before? He said, yeah, let me confirm. He, as you guys just heard, he called back and gave us the number. But TJ Van Garderen, TJ has never had the yellow jersey. So as warm and fuzzy as all that is, trust me, there's a part of TJ that's going, damn, I could have had yellow.
I know, for
the first time in my life. And maybe the only time in my life.
But I could tell by when you acknowledge that that's what happened, that pained you a little bit for poor TJ.
For sure. And especially in light of the fact that Greg Van Avermaet has had it before.
Right.
Maybe that's another gimmick. You can gift it. If your teammates, your friends, your homies, you've had it before. TJ, I love you, buddy. You wear it.
That would be cool. That goes to some of the history of some of the gentlemen's agreements of the sport.
Right. That ain't gonna
But
happen.
that was interesting.
Yeah.
That was just an interesting thing, and it kind of pained us that TJ didn't get a day in yellow. So we saw a very strong Sky, a very strong BMC. You were making some verbal notes as we were watching about a couple of teams that were very weak, including you were disappointed for Nibley, who's your pick for the overall.
Just right quick before we get to, I just want to, and I don't know if this is accurate or not. NBC reported that Chris Froome was taking 45-second pulls. Think about it. 45 seconds doesn't sound like a long time, but when you're at max effort, and 45 seconds is a long time to sit on the front.
Well,
that's
okay,
a man who was riding fast, riding strong, and trying to claw back time.
Okay, I want to bring this up if we're going to talk about Froome now, because I'm sure when you're doing a time trial, you're so laser focused that all the sound is a blur, and I want to know if it affects you, but the spectators were booing Froome. They were not yelling Froome. They were yelling boo.
I know,
and it was so audible on the feed.
Yeah, and I was the most alarming thing. And my old friend Phil Liggett, who's whatever, says on air, listen to the applause. That must make Chris Froome feel so good, and it's such a respite from the boos. And I'm like, homeboy, turn up the hearing aids. Like, it was a sea of boos.
Yeah.
But look, Froome is his skin is, I think, thicker than that. And by the way, I think everybody on that team's skin is thicker than that. And that's not gonna booze. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Well, Froome, he proved in the Giro, which he was taking a lot of heat at the beginning of that, and then he has the big breakaway day and solos, and people are like, huh. It's just like a human nature to want to hate on it, and then he does something like that, and everybody's like, "Yeah, I really do like Froome." But my question was, the pressure of that, the hearing that? Do you even, or at this level of competition, you're so laser focused, it doesn't matter what they're saying.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, now do you want to talk a couple of the disappointing team performances that you pointed out?
Yeah, I mean, with regards to the individual GC, I mean, Vincenzo Nibali, my pick, it's still my pick. I'm not changing that pick. I don't know if they met expectations internally, but that their performance was terrible, and you know, all of this time that he gained on rivals like Chris Froome in that first day, he just gave up. He's now behind Chris Froome. Mm-hmm. And you know, the other thing too that I pointed out, a team like Bahrain Meridia, Vincenzo Nibali's team, to ride the last 8 to 10 kilometers with 4 guys, think about this risk, knowing that your time starts on the rear wheel of the 4th guy. If anything happens, I mean, 8 to 10 kilometers is a long time. That's 15 to 20 minutes. So anything can go on. If anything happens to the guy, any of those guys, they have to stop. A crash, a mechanical, a flat, they have to stop. Mm-hmm. They cannot continue.
Right.
So they either have to wait for somebody that is affected or wait for one of the guys that got dropped to catch back up. Imagine being that guy that has to, hey, you got to go catch up. We need you. I mean, it's so risky to be put in that position. I get it. If you want to get down to 4 guys in the last K, that's still risky. But boy.
But the clock keeps ticking until the 4th man crosses.
It's just.
We didn't see anybody in trouble. We didn't see anyone go down. We didn't see anything horrific.
No.
But that could have been disastrous when they are down to 4.
Having said that, they lost a minute 6 to BMC. AG2R, Roman Bardet's team, another big favorite, lost a minute 15. That was a little prop bet we had at the preview show in Santa Fe. 1:15 down for them. Movistar, not a great performance. They lose 54 seconds. Team Sunweb started out, they were 15 seconds down at the first time check to BMC, or probably at that point, Mitchelton Scott. And so you got to think, okay, if I'm 15 down, then the next one I'm 30 down, and then at the finish I'm 40 down, right? If you just try to extrapolate out how you're losing time early on. They come in 15 seconds down. Time check 2, they rallied at 13 down, and then at the finish they get to 12 down. I mean, you just know that Tom Dumoulin heard on the radio, you guys are 15 seconds down. Home Skillet just went to the front and just started TTing it. I mean, that's impressive to come back like that. And, of course, Team Sky only lose 4 seconds.
And I know you were I should preface that I'm joking. You were impressed by Team Cofidis.
Well, so this is the fact that this team is even in the race. Tom Dumoulin, I'm not kidding you. Here's another prop bet. You could give them their 8 guys based on the performance we saw today and Tom Dumoulin alone, and he wins. I guarantee you.
Really?
If you can do that, if your 8-man team can't beat one guy, you don't need to be in the Tour de France.
All right. A lot of people who don't understand what the riders are great at could have been very confused seeing Sagan and Yellow sit up. Yeah. And let the team go on. Now,
I'm worried. I'm worried about. I had him just locked in for victory, stage 5 and 6. Those lumpy, undulating days with uphill, tricky finishes. Boy, he's a strong guy. Obviously, he's actually a really good time trialist. What I saw today, I don't know if they make too much party last night. Maybe party with my friends, but. Which if you want to do that, that's great. But the guy Peter Sagan doesn't get dropped from. By the way, he's not getting dropped from Team Sky or BMC. He's getting dropped from his team,
right?
Which should not happen. I was concerned, and again, maybe make party or sick or whatever.
You don't think he's just trying to stay fresh?
I don't. He didn't look. You look at his face. You know what a guy's trying to soft pedal. He didn't look good. I'm worried. I was worried about him going in. Granted, he won yesterday. I'm changing my predictions for those stages.
One of the questions that came in from one of our members this morning as we were watching, and this is a really good question. So there's the team, and then the team time, but then if they, the 4, then the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8 that drop.
Mm-hmm.
What is their time? If you're a dropped, you do not get the team time.
You don't get the advantage of that. Would be no. That would make. I mean, it's a great question, but that would make no sense. If you were a leader, you could just sit up and say, okay, you guys. So you get your time when you cross the finish line.
Right. That being said, Sagan's basically acknowledging, I will never make a crack at yellow again because I'm sitting up today.
Right.
But that's not what he does.
Right. But he doesn't care. He'll wear the green tomorrow.
The other thing that we just cannot stop talking about is Lawson Craddock.
No, I mean, this is, come on. It's hard to pick a Patron of the day in a team time trial. And I gave Lawson Craddock a very small chance of making the time cut. If you just think about a broken scapula, being on the aero bars, your elbow on the pads, every vibration of the road, I don't know what that feels like, and I don't want to know what that feels like.
One of our listeners wrote into us and said that they broke their scapula last May and can confirm that it hurts way more than a clavicle break.
Oh. Well, I've broken one of those, and that didn't feel good.
He says manipulating the scapula is basically how you move your arm around in the shoulder socket. He said the day after I broke my scapula, I couldn't even move my arm an inch away from the side of my chest.
Well, then there you go. I mean, then Lawson Craddock is the Patron of the day. Yet again, 2 out of the first 3 days, you can't argue with that. Watching the footage, he was smart early on, just sat on, and it was just messaging with him. And then he started rotating with the team. And this was a team that didn't go easy in order to protect him. This is a team, I think I need to look it up, they finished 5th or 6th. You know, how about that? So he rotates with them and then falls off with 5K to go, but clearly
makes the cut.
Makes the time cut, but just the grit to stay in there is he is our Patron of the day. Brought to you by Patron Tequila. And, you know, and the other day, the first day I said, dude, that was so impressive. Like, we made you the Patron of the day. He writes me back, says, do I get some free tequila? Which,
well, that's something he could legally take for the pain.
Yeah. Here's the sport is like, you cannot do anything else. You can't do an IV to rehydrate. You cannot take painkillers so you can sleep. But you're going to drink as much tequila as you want. Brought to you by Patron. They should sponsor the green jersey. That's a good idea. No, actually, you can't do it. My bad. In France and in most of Europe, you cannot advertise for alcohol or tobacco. So,
here's a question about the teams that are in the race. And some of the teams that are out there do not even have a GC contender. Why are they there? If you show up to the Tour de France without hopes of putting someone on the podium, what's going on?
That's a really mean question. Why are you here? You just roll up. What are you doing here?
I get asked that question a lot.
Yeah. Look, they're there. I mean, look, there's always a chance, especially later in the Tour, so in week 3, that you get in one of these long breakaways with a group of 10 that the leaders or the Yellow Jerseys team is going to let go, and you roll the dice. And look, we're gonna see it. There's gonna be one of these teams that I think shouldn't even be in the race, and you're the viewer and listener is asking. They'll win a stage, one of these teams, and so for them, that's what they're there for. They're there for the to
a day of glory.
Yeah.
The reason I asked
and
that
roll the dice
is because they go from 9 to 8 to try to have fewer in the field, maybe keep it safer. You're saying you've been very vocal. There should be fewer teams invited. That's why I brought up that question.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing that happened from day 1 and day 2 that we wanted to talk about is Philippe Gilbert has been very vocal about GC contenders mixing it up in the sprint. Not to win the sprint. They're just there.
And while you could read that and be like, oh, you can ride wherever you want to ride, and you can be wherever you want to be, and whatever position. But I agree with him. I think that those guys, right, those animals that sprint in these field sprints, these group sprints, when the mountains start, they're not all up there hogging the front of the thing and acting like they're gonna. No, they get out of the way. They're like, yo, I'm out. This is not my place. So while I think it's important in the finish, the finale, to stay up front, you don't need to be in their business. Let them do their business. The UCI rule is 3K to go from the finish. If there's a crash, if there's an accident,
it's not going to affect their time.
All at the same time. So just get out of the way. So stay 50, 60. That's what we were talking about this the other day. Like, that's what I would. I mean, all day long in the top 10 or 20. Come to the last 5K, drop to 50th or 60th, and get some guys around you, but don't mix up with those boys. They're a different beast.
I think he thought it had a lot to do with the crash that we saw at 3K yesterday.
I mean,
he's basically let us. I mean, you've been very vocal. The sprinters are a different animal.
Yeah.
Different mindset.
Yep.
He's saying, let us do what we do and get the hell out of the way.
That's right.
And you agree with him.
Yeah, I agree. And before we go any farther, let's talk about high brew coffee. Today I'm again the double espresso. I was a little sluggish this morning. I gotta admit, I don't know what's going on, but high brew coffee out of Austin, Texas, amazing. Cold brewed coffee in a can, equal to all natural ingredients, so this is pure natural energy. 2 cups of coffee per can. Love this product. Totally portable. Take it wherever you want to go. I'm leaving here to go play in a golf tournament for the benefits our junior golf here in Aspen. I'm taking a case with me just to get me through the day. I love this product. Six different flavors. Buy it on Amazon. Buy it in your local store, assuming it's available there. And by the way, the guys that started High Brew Coffee, not only do they work hard, play hard, they've started a lot of other product. They never fail. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that their track record is incredible. Every product they've ever built or created or invented has rocked.
A lot of people around here that have been around us in the show have been trying it, going, "Oh my God, I love this!" And
right.
we
got a refrigerator full of it.
I know it's going quickly. We're gonna have to get some more
because 911
because it's an Austin product, so we're accustomed to it. It's been around for a while. It's in every store, every street corner, everywhere, and maybe it hasn't quite made its way here west as much, but it will. It's happening.
Yes, it is.
And
David Smith and his crew are cranking.
People are going nuts over it.
Okay.
So we're gonna go. I know you got to go to a golf tournament. We got to do.
I'm not trying to get out of here because I have to go to. This is
you got to tee off.
Charity.
You got to tee off. I know.
It's a scramble. So and I'm playing with some great players, and I just I'm like, look, I suck, so I'll be there for moral support. I'm gonna miss a hole or two, but it doesn't matter because my guys are good.
I know. I think you don't feel like tomorrow's stage, we don't have that much to break down, so maybe we'll leave that alone. Can I lob a couple questions at you?
No, I just want to say one thing. I mean, just right quick on tomorrow's stage. To me, this is the most, I think, because we're getting used to these crashes and splits. I mean, this is the most straightforward run-in that these boys can imagine. There's a roundabout at 4K. The rest of the thing is straight in. I mean, if they fall down tomorrow, then we got problems. But I don't expect much. After tomorrow, this race gets really exciting again. So, we'll be right here talking about what might be a boring day.
One of those questions I think that's very relevant to think about tomorrow was, what's the difference on recovery between doing a time trial effort like that versus a tough mountain stage?
So, and I love that question because it I wouldn't have thought of that, but it is a big difference when 90+% of the time these guys ride one type of bike, or just a classic road bike, with a setup and geometry and fit that's very consistent for them, and then they shift to a TT bike, a time trial bike, which is completely different. Obviously, you're much lower, or as Jens Voigt said today on NBC, the bars they make you they're much slower. I mean lower. I was like,
big difference.
But it is a big difference in terms of recovery, because I can always remember whether even in the team time trial, which is less extreme than the individual, massive soreness, especially in the glutes and especially in the low back, just because you are so much lower on the front end. So it's a great question. The only way to, I guess, resolve that is just via massage and chiropractic, and just try to get the body back flushed out and back ready to ride on a road bike. So there'll be some sore people tomorrow. I don't expect that doesn't affect things, but they will know that they have ridden the maximum effort on their time trial bike.
That, by the way, was from Gary out of England.
And I just remembered, our favorite little guest. I got another email from Tori, and I read this email on the first day. So little Tori, who walked up to the mic in
10 years old.
In Santa Fe, 10 years old. So I wrote her back, as you guys heard the other day, and she says, "Hi, Lance. Sorry I haven't emailed you back. I've been busy with my sister's birthday. We went out to dinner on my sister's birthday, and some random people said hi, and they remembered me from the podcast. Also, do you know when they're going to post the podcast? Because we've been looking for it, and we can't find it. I'm so excited for the podcast. Tori." So I haven't written her back yet, but, I mean, is it maybe it is that hard. We changed the name. We went to the move. We are the move. So, look, I'm going to just write Tori back, say, "Yo, Tori, check the rankings on iTunes because we're top 10.
That's right.
How you got to find it there, homegirl? No. We got to have her call in one day.
I know. Really cute girl that showed up the first day of the tour podcast. And, okay, we're going to pretty much if you're looking for anything, we're directed to wedo.team. You can find that, the other podcast, the forward, the shop,
Swag,
the membership stuff we've been referencing. It's all there.
Yeah, and come sit in with us. I mean, every morning we sit here, the last 30 or 45 minutes of the stage, sit here on the couch. Just come sit in. We got the camera set up. We're all just hanging out, drinking coffee, drinking high brew, whatever, and you can fire off questions to us.
What's really fun, I've been saying this for a year, is like you have to see Lance while he's watching the race go down.
Yeah.
And now we put out a little teaser of what that's like, but it's pretty damn entertaining.
You need to give yourself some credit. When that thing came over last night, all edited up, dude, that was hilarious. I sent that to like 5 people just on text, and they just ate it up.
It's classic. Check our socials too for that one.
Yeah. I'm at Lance Armstrong.
There you go.
On Instagram.
There you go.
And Twitter.
And any comments or questions you can send to themove@wedo.team.
Yep. All right. Tell me good luck or something.
Oh, good luck in the tournament.
Hit them straight.
Yeah.
All that shit. All right. See y'all. See you tomorrow.